can't.
Have you ever been to a live version of this?
Yeah, man.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Merry Christmas! Yeah, man. Yes. A newborn king. Even Sean Kingston knows that. This is why Christmas. This is why if you aren't post mill, you're post mill now.
There's a bunch of people who are like, no, I'm not Post Malone.
Listen, this is one of my favorite Christmas songs.
Every year we listen to it.
Annie, you're a good woman.
Every year.
You can get with that, or you can get with this.
Oh, it's good. It's good. It serves its purpose.
Hold on. It's going to hit. The kingdoms of this world is become.
Take that, Sean Kingston.
He shall reign. That beats yours every day of the week.
It's powerful. I mean, the lyrics are a little more profound than Sean Kingston.
Only a little bit.
Hey, y'all, welcome to Cross Politics. It's the Wives Show. It's good to be with you, Pastor Toby and Jenny, Chalk Knox and Sharon, and the Water Boy and the Water Girl.
Yes. Mrs. Water Girl.
Mrs. Water Girl.
Yo.
Okay.
And so it looks like Knox got us some presents.
Oh my goodness.
But I can't let Knox.
Oh no!
I just can't let Knox do this. All right, this is one of my favorite whiskeys. It's actually made in Idaho.
What?
Yep, Seven Devils made in Idaho. It's one of my favorite whiskeys. So good.
How many devils?
My whiskey has a better story than yours.
Oh,
You gotta open it up.
I can't wait to smoke the cigar, dude. It's
Oh, that's a Calvin. I think that's a Calvin.
I've
Did I
been
get you the
working
Calvin?
too hard for a cigar.
Was that a Calvin?
I'm ready.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so
this is John Calvin.
you gotta be able to take the whiskey with you.
To John Calvin.
Oh man,
What is this?
So,
with that?
he got us a little flask set.
yeah, and some shot cups as well.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
And then
Uncle Nearest.
yes,
Oh,
Uncle Nick's
man.
Dude, this is my boy right here.
Bro, I've
Me and him, we almost grew up together.
I've actually been still like nursing that one bottle you got me last year.
good.
I still got. Is this a different one?
Better. It's a better.
It looks like a different label.
Yes, it is. It's the higher end.
It's the
version.
nicer.
Oh my
It's the nicer
goodness.
It's the nicer version.
So last year I couldn't get this one.
Yeah.
So this year you guys,
Premium.
man.
Oh
It's
my
a nice
goodness.
gift.
Thank
It's
you
a nice
guys.
It's
gift.
100 proof. So
Hey, Merry Christmas,
Merry
y'all. Thank you
Christmas.
very
Merry
much.
And
You guys
we
are
can't
awesome.
we can't go another step further until we acknowledge that this 21-year Belvini came from our friend in Kansas, Daniel Spratt.
Oh man,
Yes.
the Sprats.
Yeah, the Spratts. They
Hey.
and the church and the community out there.
Man.
And they've been so generous with
Love
us.
us some
It's
Spratts.
almost like every other year they buy us a 21-year bottle.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that for a while. So we actually got all their cases downstairs. If they ever come, they can see all their cases and everything.
Man.
Hall of
Fame.
Blessing. Thank you guys.
So it's Christmas, and this is the Christmas Wives Show.
Yeah.
And we've been promising you all month long.
Yeah, man.
Oh man.
No.
Oh man.
So good.
Oh man. Really?
My mom's in the audience. She's like, I raised that guy. I did. I don't know.
So where did I go?
Like, I dropped him on his head. He got deaf in an ear. All of a sudden, like,
That's what listening
like,
to
I
Sean
don't
Kingston
know.
does to you right there.
Man, I don't know. Maybe that's some SpankingGate. I don't know right there. I don't
No,
know.
she spanked me.
No, that's what I mean. Like maybe she's
I'm from Texas. I mean, they spank down there.
I want to talk about that. Yeah.
We'll get there.
Anyways, it's Christmas, and as promised, we've been doing giveaways.
Yeah.
All month long.
Yeah. Ooh, that's warm.
Thank
And
God.
yeah, and we promise that as the culmination, the Merry Christmas.
That's right. That's right.
Our present to one of our pub members.
Yep.
Everybody that's a pub member is entered in a drawing, and we've been giving away gifts all month long. And as the grand prize,
It's like winning the lottery.
this is like
I mean,
this
it's
is
so
like
close. So close to the lottery.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Is 30 Did we say 30?
30 tickets.
Are we crazy?
To the Prodigal America Conference in October.
Tickets. 30 tickets. 30 tickets to Prodigal America, which is our Fight, Laugh, Feast conference in Fort Worth, Texas.
That's right.
Next year, 2024.
And this is just like the ticket. This isn't like we're paying for your flights and all that stuff. Sorry, we don't have really do that.
Small print.
I just need to be clear. This is a small print.
But it's 30 tickets.
Our lawyer said.
We got one of those.
So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Are we
Yeah,
ready?
yeah, I'm
All
ready.
right, okay,
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, I pushed the wrong button. I don't know.
Yes, you did.
I don't know what happened here. Yeah. Okay, let me. I'll get this. I got it. Okay. All right. I got it. Man, Stephen G. Stephen G. We don't dox him on our show. We say Stephen G. Stephen G. Now here's the deal.
From?
You have to use all 30 tickets. If you don't use all 30 tickets, there's probably something wrong with you. Okay.
Where's
But
he
what
from?
if he doesn't have 30 friends?
He better have 30 enemies.
Yeah, bring your enemies.
Okay.
Bring Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Your governor.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
30 tickets.
So Stephen G, we'll be emailing you.
Yeah.
And if Stephen G, we've had one person not email us back either.
They just ghosted us.
They just ghosted us. So we just kind of randomly draw another person, and
Okay.
that's how it'll happen. So
All right.
Wow,
Okay.
30
Stephen G.
tickets.
I
Stephen
feel
G.
like I wish it's such a big deal. Like I wish we could have like Stephen G like on the line right now and be like,
What are
hey,
you going to
Stephen
do with
G.
your
Oh,
30
man.
tickets?
You know, like-
hey, you know what?
Call Stephen G.
Call Stephen G. I can
let's see if I
Bluetooth.
got his phone number.
Okay. I can Bluetooth
Hey,
Stephen G.
hey, Anna, go see if you can look up his phone number, and we'll call him. Seriously,
Yeah,
let's do
we'll
it.
call him.
Let's do it live on the show.
I'll text
Come on.
you. Go into the. It's.
Oh, you need to turn your mic off?
I'll text you the line number. Okay?
We don't dox him, but his number is.
All right. If we can get, I'll Bluetooth you in.
That's
we'll
a great idea.
We'll call Stephen
all
G.
right.
And,
I just feel like it should be a celebration, you know?
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
You know,
Way to go, Stephen.
Okay.
That's right. That's
Okay.
yours. It's yours.
So, ladies, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
You know, I know, I know you all. You know, I look forward to this show all year long.
And I don't make it easy for you guys. I get it. I get it.
You know, it's hard being here with Gabe.
How do we get y'all to come back year after year?
Yeah,
Seriously.
yeah.
How does that happen?
Yeah, I think it's because I require my wife to come.
And she reluctantly comes. Yeah.
And,
That's the ultimate soundbite.
I get out Ephesians 5, and I'm like, see, honey, it says, and then she says, okay.
Like everybody says, this is like our best shows of the year.
It's true.
A lot of people.
It's
true.
A lot of people.
my favorite show.
I think they put up with us for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Just to get to
And
the
they're
live
like,
show.
okay, but when is the
We like
live
their
show?
wives so much, we'll listen to them a whole year so we can get the wives back on at Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You
and
guys heard what my students prayed for me today?
It was so good.
What did they pray?
Oh,
I said, okay, I'm going to be on a show tonight. I'm a little nervous. And they said, so a little girl volunteered to pray. And she says, Dear Lord, I pray Mrs. Sumter doesn't say anything dumb.
Will she pray for me?
That's awesome.
I need those prayers.
oh, man.
so good.
And that Gabe remains mostly silent.
That one,
That's
that was a clear no from God.
What, that your wife?
No, that you wouldn't be
I
quiet.
just wanted you to clarify. That's all.
Yeah. I think it's pretty clear what I meant.
Gabe, you couldn't wait, could you?
No, man, I'm getting into it.
Are you gonna fill up your flask right now?
No.
I don't think I got the tool for
The,
that part.
the filler thing.
funnel.
I have a flask filler, though, at home.
I don't know if I have one. I'll have to
So-
figure this out. Anyways, so one of the things we want to talk to you guys about is this. It's kind of a thing going around on like I don't know, like TikTok and like
Yes.
Instagram and stuff like that.
all over social media.
There's all these people,
Shorts, Facebook.
you know, like kind of like trying to like celebrate the what do they call it? Dink.
Yeah.
Dink Life.
Dink
Dual
life.
Dual income, no kids. Yeah.
Dual income, no kids. So they're like celebrating it, sort of like rubbing it in the faces of people with kids. And we got a video, Neil. There's a video of this, of at least one example of this kind of thing that we wanted to show you, and then get your responses to.
We're dinks. We go to Trader Joe's and workout classes on the weekends.
We're dinks. We get into snobby hobbies like skiing and golfing.
We're dinks. We can go to Florida on a whim.
We're dinks. We're already planning our European vacation next year.
Dinks, we get a full 8 hours of sleep and sometimes more.
We're dinks. We get desserts and appetizers at restaurants.
We're dinks, we can play with other kids and give them back.
We're dinks. We still do it 3 times a week.
We're dinks, we spend our discretionary income on $8 latte.
We're dinks. We max out our 401ks, Roth IRAs, and HSAs.
We're dinks, we don't use our kids or dog as an excuse to leave a party. We just leave.
They kind of look too young to be dinks.
They are kids.
That's actually a good point.
Dual income and still kids.
I think they are.
You know, that's actually a really good point. Nobody is getting married that young anymore in the culture. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not doing
That's
it.
not what I was picturing.
No, I wasn't either. Yeah.
What were you picturing?
Older people like us.
Yes.
Like us.
But the older generation had kids.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Not all of them.
Like a CEO or a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. Yeah. That was
Like
that
successful.
Was, that was interesting. That was an interesting
in
take
some way.
on the
We
date
have, we
thing.
have Jen and I have friends that didn't have any kids. They're our age.
I had a good friend of mine. Him and a business partner started a social media website called Dink Life
Yeah, that's right.
to specifically serve dual income, no kids couples on social media.
Serve them? What do you mean?
They had it's basically created their own social media experience for only those who had dual income, no kids.
Hope that
It's called
prospers.
Dink Life.
It's a social media. It's like a Facebook.
I wonder if it's still around. Actually.
That was years ago.
Yeah, that was years
But
ago,
it's-
and he sold out his shares.
Yeah.
But it was going.
While you're looking for that, what do you guys think is driving? Because I'm seeing a lot more of it happening where, and it's not just something that we're seeing on social media. You can't always judge social media and know that these things are like taking place in vast amount. But one thing that's corroborating these kind of stories is the fact that we don't see people having kids. So we know that our birth rate is down. People aren't really having kids anymore, and so this is not just a social media trend. This is a trend that's actually taking foot. What are you doing?
One of the
You're
things
distracting.
that we forgot to do. Hey, Diana, this is Garrison. So one of the things that we're going to do on the show is we're actually going to each build our own gingerbread house
we're not.
as a competition.
No, we're not.
So
Oh, snap.
each couple's going to build. We should have
It's a
3 more.
competition?
We should have 3 more.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, the fat boy
That's
ain't
all of
about
them?
to eat all that candy.
They're mini houses.
I think it's just going to be one house.
It's a tiny house.
And we
It's a
will
tiny
watch
house.
you build it, Gabe.
Look at that.
This is all of them. No, there's 3. Yeah,
there's
three.
more.
There's 2. So Story Real Estate actually donated these to us, and so we're gonna
Real
build
estate.
them. Wow, and then at the end we're gonna be judged. And what we'll do is we'll probably just call Steven, who won the tickets, and have him judge what we just
Oh,
did.
do you have his number?
Or Anna's getting it right now.
Okay.
Anna, Anna couldn't get it.
Do you want
Anna
me to
couldn't get it.
open
I
this?
just threw the box at my mom when I was trying to throw it to Anna.
Sorry, Penny. Do you want me to
Oh
open this?
man.
About this.
I didn't know anything about this. No, Gabe
No,
just sprung this on
this
me.
is yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're not gonna be doing that.
So this person, Steven, I've been telling you guys not to sign up in the app. To sign up on our website, we'd have a cell phone right now, a cell phone number. But he went through Google Play, went through Apple. I appreciate it, buddy. I really do.
You know what? No.
I really do.
I'm gonna tell you something.
But
Steven's so happy right now he did that.
Because we don't have a cell phone number.
He's off.
I don't want him calling me.
Apple won't give us their cell phone number. Apple won't give us their address. That's
Apple
why
got your back,
we have some.
Steven.
Email him.
Yeah, well,
Now.
Yeah,
Email him right now and see if we can get his number by the end of the
Say we're recording the wife show right now.
Yeah, if he replies in the next hour,
All right,
we'll talk to him.
I'll try not to eat all of this because I'm going to eat all this. But I wonder, where do you guys think that this kind of dink thing is coming from? Because I keep on. Part of it for me is I'm thinking, man, it had to be. These kids must not have taken the joy that they saw in their parents raising them, and so something is triggered from the generation previous for them to say, you know what? My parents didn't have any fun raising me. I don't want to have to reap what I gave my parents, and so I just don't want to have kids anymore. Or is there something worse than that going on?
They're deceived.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
They're deceived.
There you go.
Like, to think that you're like winning. It's one thing to not be able to produce children. That's its own thing. It's its own thing to be dealing with. And it's another thing to think, oh, this is actually a blessing to be fruitless, to live a fruitless life.
Right.
What is that to do on purpose and rejoice about? I think they have life twisted.
And the value of it's funny. As they were talking, the first thing I was thinking about is all the sleepless nights that you've had, that we've had, diapers, explosions in the car with diapers, some of the great stories. But I was thinking about, there's a proverb that talks about where there's no horses.
Where there's no ox, the trough is clean.
Sorry, no ox. Yeah. And so,
like horses are cleaner. Let me correct.
no, I appreciate that. But we got really comfortable with the idea of having a clean environment, with not having to do dishes without. And these things are thought of as being like, yay, we're winning. And like we have no idea what blessing is actually having the mess.
Right.
Because that proverb says the increase is in their strength. And
right.
So, and I think they have it all backwards. And part of the deceit is just that they think that children are a hindrance.
Yes, they do.
And not a blessing. And they're missing out on all the joy and all the. I'm kind of coming in and out as I talk. But
it is.
Yeah.
It's the microphone. You're fine.
He's trying to fix
you. The mic.
It sounds funny. Okay.
Yeah. The fulfillment.
But they do think
the
that.
fulfillment of having children.
Yeah. Am I being a little selfish and thinking like, oh, my kid's gonna have to take care of y'all? Like here you go, not helping out at all. You know what I mean? I think about it.
Someone has to be with them when they get that age. Like when you get to be a certain age and you're the one who needs all of the help that you refuse to give to a child right now, you're going to get to be that age and you're going to be the one who's alone and who like your neighbor is your emergency contact. Think about it.
Right.
Right. Because if you're living life that selfish, then you're not actually reaching out to the children in your life either. Not in a way that makes them want to take care of you when you grow old. It's going to be my kids.
Well, I mean, part of the culture came from the RV culture, the RV life. You remember all the bumper stickers where it said, I'm spending my children's inheritance on this RV and on these vacations?
I didn't see those.
And so they taught their kids how not to have kids. They taught their kids how to abandon their kids and not pass down inheritance to their kids. So their younger generation, next generation, just doesn't have any kids.
They're like goals.
Yeah, and so now they're just doing what the older generation taught them to do, which is spend their money on themselves.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
There's so from our family, we kind of see two different sides. We have one side where there's good, healthy, beautiful women in our family who are not married and they're enjoying life. Right, and they're just out there having a blast, and they're in their late 30s, and you're like, man, like all your energy is going into scenery and not family. And then there's other parts of our family that aren't married, got 2 or 3 kids, and you're like, man, there's this brokenness and like we need more kids, right? Like when you have a lack of children or lack of people, there's not enough money. I don't care how much money you have to have service and needs being met, right? So right now, all the healthcare that we have, Minneapolis has lovely setups of Medicare for elderly. Is it Medicaid? Medicare. Can't always get those two mixed up.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah, one of them's for the elderly and one of them's.
But part of it is that they have this influx of people who are coming to these jobs. And so while they have the money to pour into these, helping the elderly and nursing and LPNs and home health aides, they're having a shortage of people starting to happen now. So now it's going to have to say who has the most amount of money and who gets eliminated for who's going to take care of these people, right? Like so we're not even thinking about old age. We're so living in the moment right now about what it is we can get, and I'm like.
I do think there's something about that. What you're saying is, I think when you don't really believe in the future, when you don't believe that there's like transcendent value or meaning, or that the future is meaningful, if you just believe what you've been trained to believe because of Darwinism and materialism, that we are just a cosmic fluke, that we are just atoms, we're just molecules reacting, and there's no actual transcendent meaning. It's just like your consciousness, once you die, you're gone. It doesn't matter anymore.
Right, it's YOLO.
Then exactly.
Yeah.
It really is. And I think that explains a lot of it, though, where it's like, why do I care what happens after I'm gone? Why would I care about the future? And especially if you think,
why would I bring new people into this world?
Why would I bring new people into this world? Why would I create people that then have to go into the future that I think is probably going to just be us dying out, or nuclear war or environmental meltdown or whatever? Doesn't make sense to bring more people into the world.
So I kind kind of get that. You know, like at the grocery store, I saw an older gentleman, and he was just, when my kids were little and in the cart, just oohing and ahhing over them. And so I said, well, do you have any grandchildren? He goes, oh, no, I'd never bring them into this kind of world. We're saving the planet. And I thought, he's very conflicted because he...
Yeah, that's so good. Oh, yours are so cute. Oh, I'd never do that.
What's wrong with you?
But what I don't understand is the people that are in the church and choose to do this.
Right. Christians.
Deliberate. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, because Christians, you would think like they actually they confess to believe in the meaningfulness
Be fruitful,
of
multiply,
life and the meaningfulness of the future, and for Christians to say we're not going to have kids.
It's harder.
You're right. It's weirder.
Well, something that's been happening that I've been watching. We've been
That's all you need, actually.
That's all you need?
Yeah.
What kind of houses are you making?
I don't think I have.
They're tiny houses. No, that's all you need, Jenny.
Okay.
That's part of the trick I figured out is you got to figure out how to build a house with that.
You know, I noticed on the side of this box it says skill level 2 game.
You need glue, though.
Well,
mess this up.
so I'm the only one that's figured it out so far. So what does that say about you?
Skill level 2.
We don't have a roof. Ours has no roof.
I don't know.
Do you need a?
We have no roof.
I don't.
No, we're getting. We need to cut this.
We
So
need some
the
more.
staff's
How
bringing
about
more.
a pocket knife?
We need some.
Yeah.
Some scissors.
There you go.
Oh.
There's 2 men here.
Oh my.
Whoa.
Oh my. Well, I'm the
Throwing
boss, so I
shots?
don't bring it.
So something that's caught on. How long have we been doing this show? Since
2016.
16.
Yeah.
And one of we've always been talking about getting married, having kids, baptizing them, like get married.
That was our line from jump.
From
Yeah.
jump. We've been
Yeah.
and that's not something that I've heard inside of conservative talk or
Don't cut your wife.
No, I'm cutting away.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. But it seems like that now inside
People
of
are starting to pick this up.
yes, and so I think was it Amerifest, which was
That's right.
This last week?
this last week.
Amfest. So this is
Amfest.
Charlie Kirk's big.
There we go.
Annual December conference.
So this is this is what I'm noticing is coming out of there.
Now, a couple other things that I want to make sure I mention. If you're a young person here and you say, boy, what do I want to do for my life? Honestly, you should get married as young as possible and have as many kids as possible. Period. Reject the siren song of modernity.
And Charlie's
Now, some
been married for a
parents
couple. I
are
don't think he has any
probably
kids.
I
but
don't like that.
I could be wrong.
They should basically, they should go get a job first. You're wrong. I'm sorry. Honestly. We are on the verge of a population collapse in this country. Every day I receive emails from young women filled with regret in their late 30s. And they say, Charlie, I'm sobbing as I write this email because what you talk about on the show is exactly right. I have a couple college degrees. I have a great job and almost no debt. But I was told, to forego having a family. But now I'm looking around and I have a lot of cats and no kids.
Yeah.
Honestly, where did we go wrong where we think that your bank account balance means more than passing down to the next generation? Where did we go wrong, everybody? So, I hope you meet your future soulmate. As I met Erica, the best decision I ever made in my life and the greatest blessing. And I hope you get married and have lots and lots of kids.
So that's encouraging.
And he was like the third or fourth speaker that said.
We have another clip of another speaker.
Do we?
Hit the other one.
This is what it looks like to be unshakable, ladies and gentlemen. Let me explain that.
His family.
Young men, we're just going to cut right to it. If you want to be an immovable mountain in your life, if you wish to be a strong alpha, I beg you.
Alpha.
Find a woman. Fall in love. Get married. Have more children than you can afford.
Baptize them.
Have insane amounts of kids. There's nothing the world can do to shake you if you do those simple steps. And if you acknowledge that God loves you and has a purpose for your life, that's it. That's it. And you are immovable, unshakable.
So notice, so number one, it is really striking that this is sort of mainstream, young, conservative
It's like they kind of been listening to Cross Politic.
But so that's pretty striking. First of all, just like that is a countercultural message, and that's why. I mean, that's honestly why we picked this tagline early on. Was like this is the countercultural message. Get married, have kids, but notice what they're missing.
Baptism.
Yeah. I mean,
bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord.
I think that is actually goes back to the answer to the question, and I think part of what one of you guys was saying. I don't remember if Knox or Gabe, but when you don't grow up in a healthy family,
right,
it doesn't make you want to duplicate that, and I think that. I mean, generally, I'm very sympathetic to the message. I'm very sympathetic to this notion because I do think that getting married and having a family is good for the world. I think there's common grace blessing there, and it's good for men to learn to love a woman well and provide for the kids that God gives them. Like it grounds people, and there's a lot of people that like get married and have kids, and they go from being pretty liberal to actually becoming relatively conservative because suddenly you can't like imagine stuff in your head. You can't make up stuff in your head. You actually have to deal with the real world and a real person in front of you. And it's like certain things work, certain things don't work because of the way God made the world. But I do think that if they don't get, I know Benny at the end there is kind of alluding to like God and his plan for your life or whatever. But if you don't get, if you don't have God's blessing on this, it's possible to have, 6-8 kids that create hell.
Right.
Well, the telos matters. The end goal matters.
Right. I mean,
you want to have 8 more Hitlers?
Right. You can have a situation where, and if you send them all to government schools, did you just supply the enemy with a bunch of more shock troops?
Well, that was the thing that I was going to ask too with the ladies is like, so they're saying have. At least Benny's saying have almost more kids than you can afford. And I was like, well,
because if you have more than you can afford, that's going to spur you on to go be able to afford them, right?
You're being so kind.
Well, you guys being nice. Or you're going to need the government to help support them.
There's that. I guess I think like maybe the other sympathetic way or charitable way to listen to him is he's also flying in the face of, I think a lot of modern assumptions that say you got to have like, tens of thousands of dollars in the bank and you got to have that job and you got to have that 401k and you got to have the 3 cars and then you can have one kid.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think he's pushing in the opposite direction saying,
that makes sense.
Don't be like that. Don't
listen to that.
So the question is, ladies, how many kids are you supposed to have when you get married? Oh, I'm gonna make my gingerbread house.
He gonna drop that and run.
Yes, I is.
That's not right.
How many kids are you supposed to have? What's the number?
Well, I know how many I'm supposed to have.
How many are you supposed to have?
As many as I want. I like a lot of kids.
Docs, what are you doing?
I think.
This is where it gets fun. Does your wife love the babies?
Yeah, I don't think there's. I think there's a minimum. I don't know.
Have them.
Let the little children come. I don't think there's a maximum necessarily. I do think there's at least a minimum. I think that you have a responsibility and a duty to at least replace yourself plus 1.
Okay.
Right. So you and your wife, that's 2, and so 3. You should have at least 3 kids. I think you should have at least 3 kids.
Our journey's been a little different because I think we started out wanting to have lots of kids, and then you find out early that you can't. Yeah. And so I think we've learned to pray for them and to trust the Lord. Like He's always led us through. Yeah. He's made it very clear how many children we were to have. Yeah. But we wanted to have as many as we could and tried as hard as we could and so there's some, I don't know, I guess there's some of
so you came in with your palms open, like give them, and it wasn't like, well, I don't know, I don't think I want to have them.
I think that's different than being like, we're only having 2 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's difference in like, hey, we're only going to have 3.
Because vacations.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying it's a hard law, but
Golfing.
But
because golfing, because people with families don't golf.
Yeah.
What just happened?
Yeah, but everybody's weighing. I mean, our whole economy weighs having kids based on. Dang, Gabe, you over there working?
I'm going.
He's putting in work.
You trying to?
I don't think he's sharing.
I don't think he's sharing.
No, I got.
I have.
I think she
Hang on,
needs
hang on,
this.
I've
hang
got
on.
no frosting.
I think she
I'm
needs
giving
some
Jenny
frosting
and
here.
Toby. Here's the other half.
We
for
need
now.
icing.
Did you guys get
need
icing?
icing.
Yep,
We
it's
don't
coming.
have
It's
ice.
coming. I got to
It's
use it
right
one more
there.
time.
It's
One
gonna
more
share.
time,
We've
you
got
say.
long arms.
That one. There you go.
Yeah, I think I think we've done more to say how many kids we're not going to have rather than saying we'll let God give us as many kids that he wants, right? And so our whole economy, when our economy does poorly in America, everybody stops having kids. Like the birth rates slow down. You know, instead of saying like, okay, God, if you give us kids, we trust. If you gave them to us, we know you're going to take care of them.
Well, because also
It's a promise,
the ironic thing about that is kids bring wealth, right? Kids
Right.
bring labor. Kids
Yeah.
bring economy. You know,
Right.
the economy starts in the house. Kids bring business. Like, if you're having an economic problem, then have more kids.
That's countercultural.
You know, and of course, you know, student wisdom. You don't want to have more kids where the government raises them.
Right.
But the counter thinking is actually the Christian thinking in all this.
So how do you get people who are afraid of having kids because they really do like their incomes, their dual incomes, right? How do you get them to start saying, no, it's more beautiful to have kids. It's better to, because these people aren't planting any gardens. They're gardenless. Like they don't have any, they're not going to reap anything from not having kids. So how do you get people to start saying, because I think it's embedded in our culture not to want to have kids.
Very nice.
I think part of it is, and I think you guys were saying this, but people tend to think that kids are hellions. Like they think, oh no, you know, they're going to be screaming in the Walmart or whatever.
That's because they don't spank them.
Exactly. That's exactly where I'm going to, and it's like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, it's a dangerous loop.
WWNW. What would Nancy Wilson do?
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Well, we know that answer.
Right, but yeah, if you have your children and you do not spank and you do not admonish and you treat them like they're more animal than they are human by just not speaking sound wisdom and disciplining them, you're going to come up with little hellions, and no one will wonder why you don't want them. Like you don't want them. Like nobody else wants to be around your kid either.
Yeah.
But we're not raising those kids.
Right.
I sat listening to, who's that girl? Look, I sat listening to her, the conservative one.
Oh, yeah, Candace Owens.
Yeah, and she's all, I don't bring my kids into certain establishments because, you know, not before they're 2. I don't bring them to nice restaurants. I'm like, you don't? They're like, no, because they're going to be bad. It's like, not mine.
Yeah.
Not my kid. Like, my kids go. They went with me everywhere. I didn't have a sitter. I didn't have anything. They went with me everywhere. And they were well enough behaved that people would pay. They paid our bills.
We would go out to
They pay your dinner.
Yeah.
Your
They
kids
pay
are
our
so well
dinner.
behaved. They're like, I like that. I want to
That's
incentivize
true.
more of
They
that.
want to incentivize it.
Now let me
It was
tell,
amazing.
Let me tell the other side of the story. So I have I ever told you guys about the grocery store situation?
Ooh wee.
Okay, so one day, and this is a man up moment even for me. But one day I came home and I didn't have any groceries in my fridge. And I was like, babe, how come, like, I need to eat? Like, I'm working 12-hour days. Where my food at? And I think we just had 2 or 3. We just had 3.
Probably 3, yeah.
3 at the time.
Sounds
And she's like, I can't take your kids to the grocery store and without spending most of my time chasing them in the grocery store.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I was
everybody is what? 4 and under?
4 and under.
Right.
3 kids.
And she's like, I get it. Now, this doesn't happen with me. When I go to the grocery store, we go get our groceries, everything's fine. And she's like, well, they're not doing that with me. And I was like, oh, I'm not communicating something I need to communicate here. Let me go help my kids understand this is their mama, my wife, they better listen. So we went to the grocery store and I got a basket. And lo and behold, they actually broke. Was I not around, or I was probably in the back, or I came in late, and they actually broke. So Sharon gets in the door, and the kids just spring. One goes left, one goes right. And I think you had one in your arm, and she's trying to. And I remember gathering all the kids, and I said, okay, listen, when Mom goes to the grocery store, you grab the basket, Alex, DJ, you grab the basket over here, and you guys walk with Mom down the grocery store. Let's practice that. And we started practicing. And they split. And I was like, okay, let's go to the bathroom. So we went to the bathroom and adjusted some obedience. And then we came back out. We cast some foolishness out. And we came back and we started practicing. We did this over and over until we were able to do this consistently. And I remember Sharon went to the store the next time. She said, I had no problem. And even to this point now, like when we go to the grocery store, the older kids start teaching the younger ones,
yes,
hey,
they do.
This is how we go to the grocery store. This is how, and it's just been, and here's a testimony to that. All this last conference we did out in Kentucky at the Ark Encounter, my fear was, oh man, we're about to take 9 of us on an airplane. How is that going to go?
Get through these airports.
Our youngest, we got 16 all the way down to 3. And so there's a nice spread of kids, 7 of them. And I'm telling you, it was like butter.
Yep.
It was, everybody was on time, everybody was up, everybody was moving, everybody got through security. They had their
Knox was
passes.
the problem. He was like,
Andrew's back like, Dad, you need to
sit still in the airplane, Dad.
You can't get up and go to the bathroom. But it was amazing. And I was thinking, wow, look at all this fruitfulness. And I'm thinking, man, what is it with a unit like that? What is it that you can't do now? Yeah. Okay, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was just thinking how we sat in first class and actually
and you left the kids behind. You sat in first class and you left your kids behind.
We left our kids with
no
you.
problem.
Your kids.
I need to explain this live. So
something about the back of the bus is what Gabe said. I don't know.
Knox and Sharon did end up in the back of the airplane. What had happened though? So,
hold on, you just got.
I mean, there's actually a logical, financial reason for this. Why Knox ended up in the back of the plane, and me and Annie and Toby and Jenny ended up in first class.
That did not sound good. That did not go up.
But that's what happened. What happens? So when you travel and you. I feel like I need to.
Like butter.
I feel like I need to explain this because the white couple sat in first class and the black people sat. I feel like I can't dig out of this right now.
We sat in the back with the children.
Just let it go.
There's a logical explanation. When you travel and there's all these bags, buying a first class ticket covers a lot of the bags, and there was only 4 first class tickets, not 6, but. Knox had the youngest kids, and so you guys had the youngest kids, so you guys had to sit in the back of the bus.
We had actually everybody's kids were back there with us.
Yeah, I know.
It was great. It was great.
Smooth as butter.
It was great, man.
Good one.
Oh my goodness.
You know what though?
We got off track.
It was comforting because I started realizing that this is what it looks like for everybody to move as one. This is what it looks like to have a culture of success, right? And I'm getting a taste of it after 16 years. Right, yeah. Our kids are getting
Alex
older.
Is 16.
Alex is 16.
Wow.
And so now there's a certain fruitfulness that's coming from those moments of discipline. Yeah. And man, they weren't always easy.
No,
they were time consuming. There was sleep. Like they get up in your bed and they don't want to go to bed and they're trying to they're throwing up and you're chasing them to the bathroom, trying to get in the toilet and not all over your floor.
Yes.
And that don't work.
Well, that's one of the things watching the Dink Life videos that kind of struck me, where it's like you get to go golfing, you get to go. To the beach, you get to go whatever vacation.
Yeah, all by yourself.
All by yourself. And I was thinking like some of the best memories I have with Annie was waking up 5 times a night to take care of the kids.
Yep.
Like when you're playing basketball and you're giving it all, you're working your hardest. It's the hardest you've ever given it. You've fallen on the court, you're hurt, whatever. That's the game I remember. I don't remember the easy games. I remember the difficult times where both me and my wife are sacrificing for each other and for the kids. Making memories. I do remember some of our vacations, but I don't remember them like as vividly as I remember. I remember. I'll never forget. We've talked about this before, but like having our 3rd kid, we had 3 kids under 3 years old, and just that the first 2 months. My oldest was sick. My middle was. Just got in her big girl bed, and my youngest son was born. And so I was barely getting an hour of sleep at a time at night before getting woken up again. Yep. And that happened for like a month or 2. Pretty sure I developed a couple lifetime ulcers. And but I remember that. I look back on that time. It was a very good and memorable time as my wife's trying to, grow a baby outside the womb.
There's something else too. I think that is political about this that I don't want to miss, which is how you are treating your children and how they grow up gives them a form of humanity that they have towards the rest of God's world that they don't get any other way, right? And so people who don't want to invest themselves like that, they are missing out on the beauty that God has in His world. Now, when somebody
it's both ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like you're
because the kids remember their vacation. You don't remember the kids.
Well, yeah, but as you're giving to them, they're actually giving to you.
That's right.
Every time.
They're
That's right.
you're
Not
being,
just saying that.
you're being formed by them and their challenges and their blessings and so on, but that's making you more human.
That's
even
right.
as you're trying to help civilize these savages that the Lord is giving you.
Yes.
But it goes both ways.
Yeah,
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
You're saying exactly what I was going to say. What you going to say, Mrs. Sumter?
we just saw you're just reminding me, we just saw the new Miyazaki film.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a little bit of a hint of the mother and child relationship, but it's a time warp thing, so it gets a little weird to explain. But what got River, because he was very gripped by it too, and me too, but just that she knew that she was going to die in a fire, and she looks at her son and she says, "I do it." She goes, "I know I'm going to go do that. I do it all again. You're worth it. You're worth." It was
time.
But Miyazaki tells it. Well, it's a weird story. I mean, it's a sweet, but that part
like
was
Spirited
sweet.
Away. It's like this is the same guy who did Spirited Away.
Okay.
But that was a little.
The Boy and the Heron. The brand new one that just
I
came
got to
out.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was Anyway,
And that starts there, and that's what moms do. Just going through the pregnancies, going through the labors, whatever it took to get these kids here, and then we're like, I do that again.
Yeah.
And this applies. I mean, there was just this big kind of blow up because of the Texas situation with the woman who sued to get an abortion because
I was gonna talk about
her
that.
baby had trisomy something, some number, 19, 18, something.
I can't do this.
And in Texas, she's far enough along she can't get an abortion, so she's sued.
So she's suing.
And the Texas Supreme Court, God bless them, said, sorry, you can't.
It's illegal in Texas.
This is illegal, and this is not life-threatening, because that's like the one exception clause in Texas is you have to prove that it's actually life-threatening. But it's not. The child may not make it, and it may die or may die right after birth, but this is not life-threatening to you. She left the state and went, I think it got an abortion somewhere else in another state.
She could have did that.
But a number of people got online right around this time and just said...
Ann Coulter.
Well, I think she came the other side.
She was on the up.
She was calling this
if
like
this is pro-life. I don't want any part of this.
she was calling this like inhumane or something like this. And pro-lifers have gone too far
to not kill.
But Allie Beth Stuckey, God bless her, got on there and started sharing stories and had people writing in and telling them their stories of the same baby with same conditions who oftentimes lived for a few hours, sometimes a few days.
We had a friend.
Died.
We had a friend have one of these babies.
Yeah, we have a friend who had that. But there's I was going to say the same thing though about like it's worth it, and it's because it's the image of God, and even when a life only is for a few months or a few weeks, like there's an immortal soul that was there that is just changed you forever.
Ever.
And even if it's a few weeks, even if it's a few months, even if it's a few days, whatever it is, and I don't think people understand that like at all.
Well, and this is what scares me about. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Pastor.
What
scares me about the conservative movement, and I hope they get this, and I think it's changing. This is encouraging, but everybody wants to do something big to transform the culture in one way or another, and it's like, well, change the diapers of your child, right? Like have the kids that you can have and raise them in the fear and admonition of the Lord, baptize them, right, and then do the hard things. Wake up in the middle of the night and feed them, and whatever you got. If they're sick, deal with them. Like the things, doing those type of things has made me a better man in business, right? Like thinking about other people more significant than myself, when I want to think about myself as being more significant than others, and having to deal with my children, like you said, it works both ways. That's what I was trying to get at, is that what it does to me and how I work with other people, work with a dink long enough and you'll find out that they don't care nothing about you.
No.
When you get around those people, like, they don't care about you. They are self-centered, they're about themselves, and that's the kind of world that they're going to create, and you're like, whoa, I don't want that kind of world to exist.
And that's what I think Benny, to his credit, was trying to get at. Like, you want to be a strong man. Yeah. You want to be the right kind of alpha male. Yeah. I think, being the kind of man who can be faithful to one woman, care for her, provide for her, have a bunch of kids, provide for them, love them, care for them, and we would just add, in the fear and admonition of the Lord, in the covenant community. But I think in that context, it's formative in both directions. You really are. You do pour yourself out for them, and you make them into people that are enormous blessings. And then, meanwhile, they're forming you. They're making you a better man, a better woman.
I guess my only criticism really ultimately was, like, I think it was you or Pastor Wilson that talked about children not being an automatic blessing. Yeah. And I think that there's, right now, everybody's looking for the lever to try and curry the favor of God without God. Yeah. And I don't want a conservative movement that wants to do that.
And that's why I go back to, I think the thing they're missing is baptize them. Yeah. And we don't mean that in some kind of sacerdotal Roman Catholic magical way. Yeah. What we mean by that is bringing them up in the covenant. Yeah. That's what we mean. We mean, treating your children as an inheritance of the Lord, and so receiving them, training them up, teaching them, loving them.
Were you guys surprised by SpankGate at all? So I almost want to ask you guys.
I was.
Nancy Wilson. You guys know what we're talking about, like the clip where Nancy's. This is from like several years ago. Yeah. And she describes, taking Rachel to a friend's house, and Rachel has a bad attitude, and so she gave her a swat and talked about how,
And she was so sweet in the whole video.
I know.
She's just like, blows your mind.
I was shocked. I mean.
And the responses were like vitriolic.
Yes. From like Christians.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what.
And I think that was the shocking thing. It was like the pagans are like, yeah, I get it. But there was a lot of Christians who were like, I'm a Christian, and hitting your kid only teaches them to hit.
I was blown away by it. Honestly, I actually rewatched it because I was like, "Did she say a bad thing?
You're like, what did I miss?
What did I miss?
Like, was I not paying attention?" So I watched it twice, and I was like, and then I was like, "Gabe, is this it?
Yeah,
is this the clip?"
Like,
I thought I saw a clip of a clip.
I'm blown away by it. Yeah. Like, and I will say, and I told him this as soon as I listened to it. I'm blown away by it. I mean, from a Christian perspective, but also just from like, even outside of that, like just a parental perspective, because every single parent, Christian or not, knows exactly. Can completely like resonate with that scenario of the nightmare of picking up a kid when they're like, I don't want to go home, or the other kid's like, can they stay longer? Or your kid's like, can they come to my house? Like,
yes.
I'll even say every mom, because I think moms do more party pickups and play date pickups probably. We all know that. It's the same as like, I got to take my kid to the grocery store, or I need my kid to eat dinner. Like, it's like top 5. Parenting, like,
it's time to go. It's time to go.
Relatable parenting incidents where when I watched it, I was like, I know exactly what she's talking about. Yeah. And that's the worst. And I've given my kids spanks for that too. Yeah. And I just like couldn't believe it. It's like, come on, guys, you know what she's talking about. And like, it's like an easy, like low-hanging fruit discipline opportunity for
it's
your
emotional
kids.
Abuse.
I mean,
clearly as exhibited by Rachel, like the most grounded person.
She's obviously got PTSD.
Like, I know. I was blown away by
parental syndrome disorder.
I mean, and
parental stress.
Some of it was weird too, because as sensitive people are to the culture and racial things, like,
oh please,
like black folks know, like, that ain't going down. They ain't going down.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you can't watch a black comedy show for long before you hear about how mom or dad used to spank them.
Yeah.
Like that.
Took out extension cord, came after me. So my black roommate in college, when I was playing ball down in California, he has this hilarious story. Is like, yeah, we got spanked a lot. And I remember one time my mom came in, she couldn't find a belt. And so she ripped the extension cord out of the wall and came after me. And I was like, no, Mom, no. And that was his story. And then we all started laughing afterwards.
Because he probably deserved it.
He did, no. He wasn't telling the story like he was bitter at Mom. He wasn't telling the story like...
He knew he needed it.
He knew he needed it, and this is what Mom had, and this is what Mom did.
And there was a time that type of culture... So, and maybe this is gone now, but I was just looking at it, I'm like, now we know Now, especially black folks know we got mom and dad was all on us, right? But there was a certain reverence, even amongst the thugs, that they still had that respect for the elderly around them.
Well, especially for mama.
So, especially for mom. So
That's
I
right.
remember on the corner where we grew up, 26th and James, North Minneapolis, it was right down the street from us. We used to call it the Murder Show gas station, okay? So that's where we was at in the hood. And my mom would walk around the block praying and then talk to the guy, say, baby, why are you out here? You need
right.
and they would get off the corner. Now the police couldn't get them off the corner.
Yeah,
like
right.
they wouldn't get. But my mom would out there was like, yes, Mrs. Shannon, you right, my bad. And that's how we got our block cleared off the corner, was because she was on them telling them they couldn't get on. They would respect her. Hardened thugs.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But there was something that was still there.
Right.
Enough of that. Yeah.
Enough of, now the new ones are beating old folks down and kicking them in the streets, and they don't have any respect for them because their parents didn't spank them at all.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm not saying that all the spankings were absolutely perfect.
No.
But there
They
was
didn't have to be.
there was still a certain
Grace to
form
God.
of culture there that was like, okay, we honor our elders, we respect our
That's
elders.
right.
Now there is no respect of elders.
Right,
None of
right.
that stuff exists. And I was surprised that Christians.
Have you seen some of the videos of these kids? Like
Yes.
people are like showing these videos of these like little kids like totally disrespecting their moms, and their grandmas.
cussing at the
cussing them
parents,
out,
yeah.
hitting them.
It's horrible.
It's
horrible.
I mean, it's like like
That's what your mom tried to warn you about.
yeah, but people are just like
You're kind of sloppy, Sharon. I
Yeah,
got you.
it's a whole mess over here.
yeah, whose idea was
We're
this?
not winning this award. I see why Gabe wanted to do this. Look at his house.
I mean, it's
Look at this right here.
Look at that little chimney. Look at that chimney.
Level 2. It's a level 2.
Yeah.
He didn't give us a roof.
Oh, no, you didn't even give us a roof.
no. You got the whole thing over there.
No.
You're just doing it wrong.
No.
You're doing it wrong.
They building a
Do you want
castle.
roof pieces?
There's no roof.
We had
That-
no roof.
yeah.
No
It's
roof.
too late.
That's okay. Just pretend that's like in Hawaii or something. You don't need a roof.
Castle. We'll go with castle.
Castle.
It's a castle. It's a castle, honey.
Me and Sharon were
That's what
talking
we're
You've done a
making.
really good job.
we were asking, like, I guess Christians don't spank their kids no more. Because all the people that were upset, particularly the ones who got the most vitriolic about it, were the Christians. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
Yeah.
really?
Well, and you
They
wonder,
pick
like,
and choose the scriptures they
like
believe.
what's why again? This goes back to the Dink Life thing. We're raising kids who don't want to be parents because the parents weren't parents to their kids in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
We're our families in fellowship because we discipline.
Right.
Your church is in fellowship because your church practices discipline.
Right.
You can't maintain fellowship without repentance and forgiveness. And at the center of that repentance and forgiveness is discipline in the family.
Right.
They used to say in the community, because you had some of the old folks, some of the younger folks as they were coming up didn't want to spank their kids. And the old folks used to say, listen, honey, I'm going to tell you something. Either you discipline your kids or the police will.
They tell them.
That's right.
They used to tell them, like,
they
you
tell
going to
them.
discipline your kids or the government going to discipline them and put them, like, you either going to save them from that or you going to send them to it. And it's funny, that's exactly what some of the stuff we see.
Well, and a lot of these kids that didn't get disciplined too. I mean, now they're on drugs. I'm like they took, they got ADD or ADHD or some psycho something, and they got there
you go, baby. Do it.
They can't listen to instructions. They can't concentrate, whatever. And so they don't have any problem with hitting them with some kind of medical rock.
That's true.
They do that.
Or yelling at them. And we've all heard that.
Yeah.
in the grocery
Yes.
store,
Yeah.
how
Right.
nasty parents can talk to their children.
Yeah.
It goes bad.
Yeah. No, I tell parents all the time that, like,
Oh, hold on. You preached a whole thing on it at the conference.
That went hard.
Oh, that's right. I did. I forgot about that.
At the conference,
It was really good.
Now, there's something, I didn't think about this, but then you should have played that during SpankGate. Because
We should have.
We should have
Yeah.
played that
Yeah,
during,
we should
because
have.
your talk at the conference on this topic of how parents talk to their kids was phenomenal. It's the perfect balance of this conversation. I'll let you tell us. I ain't gonna take your glory, but you can tell the story about how you.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I was thinking of something else, but yeah, the story I told at the conference, I already prepared this talk, but I was leaving one morning, and this mom we're at the hotel. It's right next to the Ark, and so like I'm sitting in the car waiting for somebody to give a ride, probably
Probably us.
knocks, and this mom hauls this I don't know 8 or 9 year old boy out outside the hotel, and she just starts screaming at the kid. I have to tell you, and like I'm sure the kid like was probably being difficult, being terrible, being disrespectful,
Some type of way.
but she hauled off and just screamed in his face for 30 seconds. I was like, I need to get out. I mean, like, and I'm just thinking to myself,
Sun wasn't up yet.
this kid
It was.
like his memory of the ark
Yeah.
is going to be getting screamed at by his mom.
Yeah.
Like his memory of learning about God's mercy saving the world through a flood and his kindness in creating the world, like all this stuff like you're here to see is like it's going to be marred by this vitriol of a mom. And I was just saying, like I think there's a lot of Christian parents though who have I'm just even going after like homeschooling Christian parents, like Christian parents who care about creationism, Christian parents who care about the flood and bring their kids to these kind of conferences, who then what they do is they end up actually like boiling the kid in the mother's milk. They're actually and then they think that somehow it's still going to work out. And then I call it theistic evolutionary parenting. Basically, it's like right. you're acting like the whole problem with theistic evolution is the idea that God used millions of years of suffering and death to bring about the creation.
That's right.
Like no, that's wicked. Yeah. Like theistic evolution is worse. Like Darwinian evolution is more is better. But you're saying this good and kind and gracious God used millions of years of suffering and violence and death, and then brought about this world. Like, if you believe in that, no wonder you think that you can use violence and manipulation to bring about good things. But I think Christians can become functional theistic evolutionists when they treat their kids so poorly, yell at them, and then try to sweep it under the carpet and be like, and everything's fine because I taught them 6-day creation, or whatever it is. But I always tell parents too, the thing I was going to say is, I think it is actually it's the most kind thing to do to discipline your children the way God says to do it.
Yeah.
And what that means is, and this is actually kind of an application of, what's Pastor Doug's thing about the first crime scene?
Yeah, it's the second crime scene that's going to be worse.
Yeah. All throw down at the first crime scene.
Yeah.
Well, I think parents win the battle at the very beginning.
Yeah.
When there's this is the thing that I don't think people can get their heads around.
The crime was small.
With the Nancy Wilson thing.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like, well, first of all, like Nancy describes this, and you need to know Nancy. Like she describes everything in like a really, really like sweet and gracious way.
Yeah.
So like I think probably Rachel's attitude was probably a little bit more angsty than exactly that come across.
Yeah.
She's been gracious, but like regardless, like the point is when you see the tiny weed, pull it.
Yeah.
When you discipline when the sin is little, and at the first sign of the rebellion and the angst, what you're actually doing is you're actually protecting them from the where it grows into this gnarly plant, and then you are tempted to get angry. You're tempted to lose your temper. I remember when the kids were little, I was thinking like when we were tempted to get upset, it was like probably it was usually our fault. Because we had let it go that far.
That's right.
Right.
And like they were complaining, and then you sort of got this like edge about yourself, and you're just like, why am I feeling this way? And you're like, well, I let them complain all day.
Yeah.
Rather than disciplining at the first complaint, the first crime scene.
Yeah.
So that and then it's amazing, like when we would sometimes catch the kids and realize, and catch ourselves and realize, okay, we've been in the name of being nice, in the name of being kind, in the name of being patient, we've been letting stuff go, and now we're like all feeling kind of angsty, and we like, all right, we need to repent, and we would sometimes tell the kids like, hey, kids, we haven't been doing this well. We've been letting you complain, and we've just been kind of correcting you a little bit or just telling you to stop. We haven't actually made you stop, and that's on us. We got to stop. Like we want to have a joyful home, and then we would have a kind of an intensification of discipline for a bit.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we would have this just calm, joyful house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
And it was
right.
like,
That's right.
Yeah, you dealt with the sin.
It was, but if you don't pull the weeds when they're little, then you end up with the second, third, and fourth crime scenes that are never better. It's never better. And you get angry, you lose your temper. And I think many parents who refuse to discipline their children the way the Bible describes in Proverbs, they really are making everybody's life worse.
Yeah, what kind of doctors does that make? What kind of lawyers does that make? What kind of politicians does that make? We forget that we're raising little humans that are going to go and engage in the real world, and how we raise them is what they're going to turn out to be in fruitful.
I mean, you don't want a doctor giving you heart surgery wanting to throw a fit.
Right. In the middle of a heart surgery, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't
Right.
want that, but that we're raising our kids like that's okay.
But honestly, that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
And I'm seriously like that is going to have massive ramifications. Like there are going to be like I don't think people understand, but like well-disciplined children and healthy families means that you can trust your car mechanic, you can trust your heart surgeon,
that's right.
you can trust your tax collector, you can trust your police officers. But when you have a generation of families that has operated the way it has, what you end up with is thugs in all of those places.
Yeah.
And you will end up with heart surgeons that will totally screw it up, and we will pay the consequences.
Yeah.
You will
And blame it on you.
You will end up with people who are liars and thieves, and there are real life ramifications for that.
Well, and what's interesting in all this is for Cross Politic, I built Dropwave to host Cross Politic because we were having issues with other podcast hosting platforms. We work with certain corporate partners because we trust them.
Yeah.
Right.
We literally we don't need to switch cell phone companies. We're fine. AT&T's giving us a fine service, but we're switching over to Patriot Mobile because we trust them.
Right.
Like this freedom economy. The currency to me that's most valuable is trust.
Yeah.
I'll pay the same for Patriot Mobile as I will for AT&T, but I trust Patriot Mobile.
Yes.
And so trust, I think, for a lot of people is all-time high. We won't work with Salesforce because they kicked off Project Veritas. We won't work with HubSpot because they kicked off Daily Wire. I'm looking for, that's why we have Nexus as our corporate partner. Yeah. They're a competitor with Salesforce and HubSpot. But like trust in all this is an all-time high, and it started off with like this current modern cancel culture silliness. But the next generation coming up, I'm really not going to trust them. Like I don't trust cancel culture is what's happening now.
Right.
But the next generation is like,
You're
you're the fruit of Netflix. You're the fruit of Google. You're the fruit of Salesforce.
Yeah, you're the fruit of not getting spanked.
Of not getting spanked.
Right.
And I'm not going to want to do. I just have no trust there.
I was thinking about this with I wrote my article. Sometimes Gabe reads his own article on Fight Laugh Feast magazine. I'm gonna quote my own article from Fight Laugh Feast magazine.
I do that frequently.
He does.
I write an article in our magazine and I read it.
He reads sections of it.
And that's how I sell it. But it works. Like we get more subscribers when I do that.
You said it's working.
Our last issue was on based business, and I was looking at the proverbs that say that a good name is better than gold.
Yeah.
And I realized that's real.
Yeah.
Like a good name is a trustworthy name. Like trust is the fundamental currency.
Yeah.
Like it, and I really believe this.
Yeah.
I believe that trust is more fundamental than gold.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, all my gold bugs, friends, but I actually think that trust is more valuable. I think if we went on the gold standard tomorrow, we still wouldn't have a stable economy because no one trusts anyone. Because your gold's not worth a darn.
Yeah,
it's not worth anything if you don't trust their name, if you don't trust their word. And I think I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Wives, you guys have the last word. First of all, thank you guys for doing the show with us and not running off and actually talking to us and still loving us afterwards.
But let them think about their last word, and before they give the last word, I'm supposed to do a plug.
Oh.
Remember that we didn't like write it down or anything, but like we're gonna do it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So basically, this is just from my heart because there's no script up on the screen at all. I'm just talking to just me and you out there.
So personal.
Yeah. Hey, we are so grateful for all of you all that watch us and listen to us day by day, week by week. Your support is amazing. And those of you who are part of the Pub TV club membership, you're the ones that allow us to keep doing this every day. And so we're really grateful to you. We've got this brand new app. If you haven't got the new app, download it, update your old app. If you haven't yet, go to your favorite app store, search Fight Laugh Feast, Pub TV, Cross Politic, download it, update your app. It's a pretty amazing experience. A bunch of stuff on there is free, but we also have a bunch of content on there specifically for our Pub TV club members. And if you're not already a Pub TV member, we want to invite you to join us on this ride. We really do want to continue providing you with quality content every day, regularly throughout the year, covering news, current events, bringing you interviews, that no one else is bringing you because no one else is Gabe. We have Gabe, and Gabe gets interviews for us. If you ever want to know why did they get that person on the show, is Gabe. That's all it is. True. Really, it's Gabe. Wow. He's how are you able to do that? Gabe also has some contacts with some pretty cool people that we're hoping to talk to this coming year. Yeah. And your support helps us do that. Also, Pub TV members always get discounts to our conferences. And just a reminder that Fight Laugh Feast 2024 is going to be in Fort Worth, Texas, October 31st, which is Reformation Day. November 1, November 2, which is right also before the 2024 election. So
the weekend before that Tuesday, it's crazy.
It should be a raucous time. And we've slashed prices to the conference this year. If you've gone to previous conferences, I think it's like almost a third or like less than a half.
Yeah, less than a half.
Don't we know somebody with 30 tickets?
And
Stephen G. 30 tickets.
30 tickets. If you don't, you should find Stephen G. and become his friend.
He might have a ticket for you.
Anyways, so there's the plug.
I'm just sitting here. I didn't hear anything you said. I'm gonna tell you why. My wife is over here doing some stuff, man. She doing what Eve's supposed to do. I gave her this. Let me show y'all this. I gave her stuff like this.
And she broke it all.
And she's taken all the stuff I gave her and she's made this. Now, let me tell you something. This was not looking like this just a moment ago. Okay,
that's called glory.
That's glory. She do it to my house every day. Thank you, baby. That's beautiful.
The wolf started to blow my house down a little bit. It's a little crooked.
Hold on.
I did not participate.
I think
Andy didn't participate
for not having a roof.
It's beautiful.
It's not hurricane friendly.
I like the shrubberies.
I want the shrubbery.
Look, we have
gingerbread.
Love it.
Yeah, we have shrubberies around the side.
You do.
That's glory too.
That's nice.
But I got a yard, like super fun.
It's a
yard. The yard.
That's just candy.
Is the best part.
That's just candy. You just dump candy on the plate.
I mean, wouldn't you want that in your yard?
That's what he did.
I wanted in my yard.
Ladies, any last thing you guys want to say before we go?
Oh my goodness.
Another year, baby.
Another year.
Cross politic. Another year.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Oh, we'll do that first part of the year. My wife is busting out stuff you're not supposed to say. Oh, I want to say this real quick before we go. We're able to do this too because we have a great staff and crew.
Yeah,
who are back in the back there, switching the angles, producing the shows.
Neil,
Brianna, Carter. Thank you guys so much for what you do.
I mean, we just named a bunch of single people.
Garrison, still single. Anna's married though.
Anna.
Having the first Fight Laugh Feast baby.
Woo! Yeah, that's right.
Thank you guys for your support and everything you do to make this show happen.
Thank you
Appreciate
guys.
You could name him Gabe Toby Knox.
No, that's not.
Toby Knox.
That's not happening.
That's why you don't want to share the name yet, right? That's okay. We understand.
And
Miss Penny, we love you.
We love you too.
Yeah, my mama Penny.
Yes.
Johnny, Carter.
Thank you guys. If you're single, get married. If you're married, have you some kids. And if you have kids, go baptize them. Until next year, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is Cross Politic.
We forgot to have our wives read one of the ads.